In Inquiry 8.3, we're going to be looking at transpiration in our Wisconsin fast plants. So if you think about transpiration that we've mentioned in Inquiry 8.1 and 8.2, that is when water vapor escapes from the leaves of a plant through the stomata. So we're going to do an experiment in 8.3 where we see how much transpiration occurs in the Wisconsin fast plants. So our question for this lab: does the number of leaves on a plant affect the amount of nutrient solution that passes through the plant? So for your hypothesis, you would say the leaf number and then choose will or will not. So you would either say the leaf number will affect the amount of nutrient solution used, or the leaf number will not affect the amount of nutrient solution used. So you take a guess if you think it's will or will not. And then put a reason why. So after because, fill in your reasoning as to why you think the leaf number will or will not affect the nutrient solution used. Our materials are found on page 131, and our procedures are found on page 132 and 138. Now I'm going to show you a picture of those materials we're going to be using. Of course, we have our Wisconsin fast plants that we've been growing for a while now. We started them back in early September. And as you can see, the reservoir on this one is getting a little empty because the plant has used that water or that nutrient solution. Here we have what we're going to use for our control for our experiment. This is a setup with the planter and reservoir cups, but the only difference is there is no plant growing in this control. And we're using this as our control just to see how much of the water is just simply used because of evaporation. So some of the water will be lost from evaporation. So we're going to use our control for that. But we're going to see how much of the solution our plants are using. And we know that we're going to be counting the number of leaves that our plant has. And each group will also count the number of leaves on their plant. We will, on the Friday before we do this lab, each group will take their reservoir cup and measure how much solution they have. They will fill it up to 250 milliliters and put exactly 250 milliliters of solution in their cup. We will also do that to the control. We'll put exactly 250 milliliters of solution in there on Friday. And then when we come back to do the lab on Monday, we will see how much of the solution the plants have used over the weekend. And to do that, again, we'll take what's in our reservoir cup, pour it into a graduated cylinder, and we will see how many milliliters of solution are left. So we would subtract 250 minus how much is left, and that will let us know how much was used by the plant. And we will do that for each group and also for the control. So let's go back and look at our lab report. Let's look at how we're going to collect our data. So on our data table, each group will count the number of leaves that are in on their plants. They will put their beginning volume, which should be 250, because we're all going to put exactly 250 in there on Friday. And then on Monday, they will find out what their final volume is. And then they will subtract that to find out how much nutrient solution was used. So each of our groups will do that, and we'll also have our control. Group 6 will be our control, which of course would have 0 leaves, 250. We'll see what the final volume is, and then we'll see how much solution was used. So if you're doing this from home, I will put a picture of my homeroom's data on the assignment on Monday. Okay, then we have room to make our line graph. Our line graph is going to show the number of leaves versus the amount of solution used. So we're going to put the number of leaves across the bottom. We'll create a scale for that. And then on the y-axis, we will put the amount of solution used, and again, we'll put a scale for that. We will have from 0 to 250, but we'll divide it up. We'll probably go by like tens or 20s, count by tens or count by 20s. We'll just have to see what our data looks like on Monday. Okay, then you have, after you have created the graph, you will have your analysis questions to answer. You have a few vocabulary words. You have 6 vocabulary words to define. And then for your conclusion, you should tell about if the number of leaves affects the amount of solution used by the plant. So summarize what you found out from your observations and from the data we collected. Does the number of leaves affect the amount of solution that the fast plants used?